Aloha and welcome back to Adventures in Hawaii. I'm at Mauna Loa Helicopters about to meet the president, Ben Fouts. Now he's the guy in charge of showing me how to become a helicopter pilot. Join us. Hey Ben, okay, my mom's a little nervous about me getting my helicopter pilot license, so how can I convince her that this is safe?
Well, it's actually very safe. You know, flying a helicopter is something safety is paramount, and the first thing taught here at Mauna Loa Helicopters and other flight schools as well. It's actually the only man-made machine that has saved more lives than it's taken. I think the biggest misconception about helicopters is safety. So many, I think the general public believe of the helicopter as being such a dangerous machine. One of the things during a pilot's training, they concentrate so much on emergency procedures, handling of emergencies, that if an emergency were to take place, they're well prepared for it.
So Ben, how many hours do I need for flying? I mean, before I get certified in the air, ground work, what's the procedure?
Okay, from the start, here's what happens, Loki. You'll take about 60 hours of ground school, and what you see behind us here is some of the students studying and working on some of that. There's 40 hours of flight in order to get certified at the private level, but here's how it all begins. You're going to start out with a medical exam to make sure that you're qualified to be flying a helicopter. You'll go see an aviation medical examiner. Once that's complete, you start the process of training. And it starts with ground school. We'll get you in the classroom with an instructor and start out with the basic subject material so you understand what you're doing in the helicopter. And then before you actually fly, we go to a flight simulator. We want to simulate some of the helicopter and get a feel for the controls before you actually start and feel the helicopter.
So we're going to do simulated takeoff, simulated landing, simulated crashes. Anything that you could experience out there, we're going to simulate.
Exactly. We're going to simulate everything we possibly can to you before you're in the aircraft. And the reason for this is if you crash in the simulator, it's okay. It's just a computer system, it resets. And we want all of these tendencies that maybe we need to work out beforehand taken care of before we put you in the helicopter.
So the simulator is going to feel like a virtual video game, right?
When a new pilot is beginning to train, they sometimes have a little trouble with over-controlling the helicopter. And we want to put them in the simulator where it's okay if they crash it. We don't have a big, expensive insurance bill. But the idea here is to get them oriented with the controls, the flight characteristics, and also to handle emergencies prior to getting in the aircraft and handling the real thing.
So Ben, what happens if the engine just quits? Do we go straight down?
That's a good question, Loki. I'll tell you what, let's go to the simulator and find out. This is the simulator. And world's greatest video game. Let's go ahead and hop on inside. Okay, what we have inside the simulator is a pilot station, which is a full-size replica of the real cockpit, and behind that, an instructor station where we can simulate all kinds of weather and emergency situations. In fact, there's what they call the emergency box, which has the button there for the engine failure and the tail rotor failure, some very critical emergencies that you can simulate inside. And hopefully then, when they've trained on that in the simulator and in a computer environment, they'll be able to handle the real thing. The results we've had with students starting in the simulator prior to starting the aircraft is after 5 or 6 hours in the simulator, they have been able to transition to the aircraft almost seamlessly and been able to hover the aircraft, which is one of the hardest skills to begin with for a new pilot.
Awesome. It looks like, where are we?
We're in Honolulu right now, and we're going to pick up and take off, take a nice flight over Honolulu, but if you want to, there's 22,000 airports in there. We could go to Machu Picchu if you want to go there. We could go over Ayers Rock in Australia. Wherever you want to go, it's all in the system.
From right here, we can be anywhere. Well, I'll stick to Honolulu.
All right, good. We're going to go over a couple of the controls right away. Do you have a pretty good feeling for what we have here?
Not exactly.
Okay. You might think that it's like a car, and that's a clutch. And that's a brake over there, your emergency brake here.
Emergency brake?
Yeah, you wouldn't quite be right with all that stuff.
Really? Okay.
The pedals are going to control how you move this way through the air. It's called your yaw.
Your yaw.
Your yaw.
Okay.
And this right in the middle here, this is called your cyclic. And this is going to control your pitch. So that's going to control whether you're forward, back, to the side, or to the other side. That's also going to make you go any of those directions.
Okay.
So I can have the instructor back there in the instructor station go ahead and start us up, and we can pick up and fly around Honolulu if you like.
Oh, let's try it.
All right. Okay, so we're at 60 knots and we're flying straight. I'm going to go ahead and give you the controls. Do you have controls?
I have controls.
All right, you have the controls.
Okay.
All right, now we're flying at 60 knots. If you want to go a little faster, you just push forward a little tiny bit.
Did you know there are 25,000 helicopter pilots total in the United States, but only 1,400 of them happen to be women? More helicopter action coming up. Stay tuned.